U.S. President Barack Obama has been formally welcomed to Greece's presidential mansion in Athens, where the president met with Greek leaders Tuesday on the first leg of the final planned foreign trip of his presidency. Obama was greeted at the palace by Greek President Prokopis Apostolopoulos and a marching band. The two men reviewed the honor guard outside the palace and greeted Greek officials before brief talks. From there, Obama met with Greek Prime Minister Alexis. Tsipras. Their talks were about continued economic reform. The president thanked the prime minister and his government for welcoming him to the birthplace of democracy and noted the long-standing relationship between the two nations.
We have consistently been able to count on Greece as a friend, an ally, a vital link in NATO and our transatlantic partnership. And I know that from the Greek-American community, they would want me to express our deep affection and abiding friendship with the people of Greece.
Well, Obama also credited the Greek government with bearing the brunt of the refugee crisis, in which waves of immigrants from Africa and the Middle East entered the country from its southern Mediterranean coast and adjoining islands. Obama and Tsipras held a joint news conference after their meeting. Obama will also attend the state dinner. Well, for more on President Obama's visit to Greece, journalist Nick Barnett joins us live via Skype from Athens. Nick, first, the president made it very clear this was very significant to him, visiting Greece, right?
Yes, it was. It is very significant for Greece. The last time that a U.S. president, or that a sitting U.S. president, visited the country was way back in 1999, when then President Bill Clinton visited the country. So that, and combined with the fact that this was the first stop on President Obama's final foreign trip, is also very significant for Greece as well.
Somehow it couldn't avoid answering some questions regarding the election of Donald Trump and comparisons with Brexit. What did he have to say?
Yes, the president did, at a press conference that he did along with the Greek prime minister, he did touch upon that and upon the election of his successor, Donald Trump, making comparisons between the populism that led to Brexit in the UK, and also comparing that to other forms of populism, even such as the more left-wing populism that was mainly in large part responsible for Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras himself coming to power last year, and he also made comparisons about how he handled the 2008 economic crash compared to the way Europe did, and the reasons why Europe is still struggling with many of the things that America has been able to get past in terms of its economy. But he did touch upon the political populism, which is something that both sides of the Atlantic are now dealing with.
And we know for many of our viewers, especially in Africa, they have come to focus a lot on Greece because of the migrant situation. What did the leaders say regarding that situation there?
Well, President Obama he expressed American solidarity for its efforts to handle the refugee crisis as well. He complimented Greece on its tremendous hospitality shown to the tens of thousands of refugees and migrants that are currently being hosted in the country, as well as for the more than 1 million others that have passed through its borders over the past 2 years. And he also expressed that America is willing to do whatever possible it can to help Greece with this crisis, and along with Greece and other countries deeply affected by the crisis of migration right now, to find an appropriate and viable solution to this.
Now, Nick, you've been covering the refugee crisis for some time now. What is the current situation? How is Greece dealing with this issue?
Well, right now, Greece has, for the past few months, has had various refugee centers around the country for the more than 50,000 refugees who are stranded in the country. These are people who came into the country from Turkey before the March deal between the EU and Turkey, to which states that all migrants, regardless of where they're from, will be subject to return. So those that came before March, but after the Balkan countries to the north closed their borders, are stranded here in various centers around the country, as well as some unofficial squats that have sprung up in cities like Athens and Thessaloniki. The government is working very closely with UNHCR and with other organizations like Médecins Sans Frontières and the IOM in order to make sure that in a lot of these refugee centers that there are accommodations in terms of housing, schooling for the children, as well as some basic supplies. But it is, of course, still a work in progress. There are many issues still in many of these centers with improper protection from the elements. A lot of the people in these centers are still living in tents, living in structures that are not fit for, especially for the upcoming winter, where, I mean, the weather is already starting to get cold and wet here already now. So there are still many issues like that the Greek government is still struggling to deal with in order to accommodate.
And we'll have more details on that. Nick, thank you very much for your reporting today. That's reporter Nick Bonnet coming to us via Skype from Athens.